Hello, folks. Welcome to Between Awesome and Disaster. This is your host, Will Carey. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I feel like, and I include myself in this as well, I feel like everybody I know personally, anecdotally, acquaintance level, the United States of America, I feel like everybody I know had a absolutely like bonkers, difficult January of 2025. The kind of month that feels like it lasts forever, and then immediately makes you feel like the world needs a hard reset. And this is all separate of the inauguration of a president that I don't think is going to be good for a lot of people. It is one of those kinds of months where you're just continuously like compressed is what I'd say. Like you're just in a vice. It's that kind of a month, and I've been and the squeeze is really real, metaphorically, in this year of 2025. And the way that I cope with that, that I've decided to do, because the line I've been saying is I'm going to take, I'm viewing the second Trump administration like a prison sentence. So I'm going to read a lot and I'm going to get in shape. And I have been working on one of those things. I am not an exercise person, and I find fitness influencers and the way fitness is talked about online honestly kind of annoying and off-putting, vaguely cultish. Like everybody like who really talks about holistically about health is, there's just this air about them that I find very unapproachable. But I have over the last few months, like consistently, like just going and running on the treadmill for 20 minutes, like alternating between running and walking. That's been sort of like kind of my zen, like a routine. Like I've definitely found myself in need of routine, something that I know I'm going to do so I can check it off. And that exercise has been that. This podcast has been that. And band practice has been that. Skiplag, I'm very much looking forward to what Skiplag has on the horizon in the next couple of months, because not only are we going to be back at the Shillelagh Tavern on April 19th, but we are also going to be playing pianos in the Lower East Side of Manhattan on June 7th. That's a Saturday, with our friends Hopeless Otis, Suburban Surf Club, and Something About Ghosts, who I've become very good friends with very quickly over the course of being in Skiplag. And we are really looking forward to our return to Shillelagh Tavern on April 19th, because one of the bands that we are going to be playing with at that show is my guest on today's episode. Mick Moreau is the lead singer and guitarist, principal songwriter for the rock band Badass Mother Fuzzers, who are based out of France, and they're going to be in the United States, and we're going to be sharing the stage with them at Shillelagh for that April 19th show, which, if you're listening to this and it's April 19th, that is a couple days before my birthday. So if you have been thinking, oh, what am I going to get Will for his 39th birthday in a few months? Well, the best thing you can do is attend this show at the Shillelagh Tavern, because we are going to have some new material to play for you, some new original songs as well as some new covers, and you're going to hear this really cool new French rock band, Badass Mother Fuzzers. And I had a really nice time talking with Mick. Mick is a guy from a different era of rock and roll, so we really had a lot to get into the trenches and talk about in terms of loves of music and influences. And especially I enjoyed Badass Mother Fuzzers' newest full-length album, which is streaming everywhere now. It's called Sorry For You, came out last year. And we're going to talk to Mick about songwriting, guitars, and sort of like the cultural exchange of rock that I like to do on Between Awesome and Disaster sometimes ahead of playing with somebody. So we're going to talk to Mick now, and I'll let you guys know more about the shows after we get this chat to this chat with Mick of Badass Mother Fuzzers. Other people that my band has played with in New York on the show internationally, because our bands are gonna play together in April in Astoria. And what brings your band to the United States coming up?
We love the US. We've been there a few times. We played there in 2010 with a band called the B-Sides. We had a few gigs in Canada, and we just came down to New York because New York is the place for punk rock and rock and roll. Is the place to be with the Ramones, all the CBGB and Patti Smith and all these people basically. So basically it was a dream for us. We played in New York at Dom Pedro's in Brooklyn in 2010, and then we came back in 2013 with a Ramones tribute, Los Ramones. So we played there in 2013 and 2015. Then we came back with Badass Mother Fuzzers in 2017, and we tried to come back a bit earlier, but because of COVID, it was complicated. So we just thought, okay, maybe it's time to go, because we're getting old. So it's the right time to come back.
Amazing. And are you doing a couple shows in the US or just New York?
So we got four shows in New York. In the States, we got the Starlight in Southbridge, Massachusetts. Sorry for the pronunciation. We've got a gig in Rhode Island, one in Clinton, Connecticut, and with your band at Shillelagh Tavern. I can pronounce
Shillelagh.
Yes, I can pronounce it properly in Queens. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be. I predict that'll be your favorite show because the Shillelagh Tavern is like a very proper like Irish pub, and there's a big back room where the show happens.
Sounds quite good. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guys who run those shows are good buddies of mine. They really put on a really well curated lineup. So I think we're gonna have a good time.
I can't wait. We can't wait. We want to be there.
Amazing. So you've toured the United States a lot. I'm curious, and this is more like I guess more logistical. What are the realities and like some of the things that maybe people wouldn't think about when it comes to touring internationally as like a DIY punk band?
Well, we do exchanges with other bands. So we play in Ireland with. We are friends with Jean-Philippe, who's a drummer for the Outcasts. I don't know if you know the punk band from Belfast. So we're friends with him, and he's got a few other bands. So we invited him with his other bands to Toulouse, and he invited us to Dublin a couple of times. And we played in Spain with a band called Las Sombras from Barcelona, and they organized a few gigs for us as well. And we are planning to play in Italy with a band called the Mad Dogs. And we played in the States with Jeffrey, with a band called the Lost Riots in 2013, and with the Rats in 2017. So when I thought of coming back to the US, I contacted Jeffrey, and he said, "No problem, we'll organize a few gigs for you." So we are very lucky, basically.
Oh, fantastic! That's what I love about punk rock music and like the scene that we play in, is that there's a real sense of community. Like everybody wants to like help each other out in doing cool things.
Yeah, definitely. It's the best way to do something anyway, because it's complicated for bands like us to do anything if you don't basically go for it and get in touch and do exchanges and stuff like that.
Totally. And that's something I'm a little envious of, being based in the United States. Like, sure, like in New York, we'll go down to Philly, we'll go to New Jersey, we'll go to upstate New York. But like growing up in the United States, there's always this idea of like, oh, if you live in France, oh, I'm just going to jet off to Barcelona for the weekend and go have an entirely different experience. Or, oh, I want a pizza, but I want a pizza in Rome, so I'll just fly on to Rome. Like it feels so much more I don't know if glamorous is the right word, but it feels like more worldly as opposed to my upbringing in the States.
Which feels very glamorous to play in New York and to play all these places. We played in Boston as well with the Ray Kids and Muck and the Myers in 2017. It's amazing for us playing in Philadelphia. We played in Baltimore as well. It's really exciting for us, you know.
Yeah, I went to college in Baltimore, so I did my sort of like my undergrad in rock and roll shows, going to like the Auto Bar, going to the Wrecker Theater, seeing just so many great bands.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, because I'm always interested in how people are exposed to the kind of music that they play and like what brings them to the life of an artist, essentially. I'm curious, what was your exposure to punk rock music, like when you were younger? I don't know if maybe you were a kid or a teenager, because I just don't know how like punk rock gets to like Toulouse. You know what I mean?
Well, it's quite complicated because I heard about punk when I was about 13. I heard about the Sex
13?
Pistols. I saw pictures in magazines, but I was too young, you know. And then I went
Yeah.
to Manchester for a few weeks, and
Okay.
I saw a couple of bands, and I really got into music there. And people were listening. My friends were listening to the Clash and the Ramones and stuff like that. So I started getting into it like that. Before that, I
Yeah.
was listening to AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and the Doors and things like that, you know. But
Yeah.
I got into
Classics
punk,
of the era.
and I saw a couple of bands in Manchester, and I asked my mum to buy me a guitar when I came back, and she was
Uh-huh.
nice enough to get me an electric guitar. So
Oh,
that's
how
how I got
nice.
into it. And then I started listening to the Clash, the Ramones, the Undertones, the Dead Kennedys, Stiff Little Fingers, you know, all those great
Yeah.
bands.
I know. Yeah, the undertones from Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I discovered them relatively recently. I was buying records in Ireland a few years ago,
Right.
and I learned that whole history of like they were like one of the first like pop punk bands to kind of like break in Ireland. So I loved them, and yeah, Stiff Little Fingers are amazing, amazing as well. And then
We saw Stiff Little Fingers at the Rebellion Festival in Blackpool maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago, and they were still amazing. Basically, great voice, great singer.
often I love that. I love when like bands can kind of like keep that fire that they started with, and it doesn't get into like, you know, Vegas review level. That's awesome. That's how I felt. I saw Green Day a few times last year, including I went to their show in Paris with my wife, and that was an incredible show. What's also funny to me, and I don't know how you feel about Green Day as a band, but I enjoy watching other crowds react, like seeing like what crowds react to certain songs. And the Paris crowd loved American Idiot. Like they were so excited to sing along to that album because they played it front to back.
Yes, I saw Green Day in Toulouse maybe 10 years ago, and I played. I'm a teacher. That's my job. I teach English, so
Okay. Oh, nice.
I played the songs to my students, and they knew it. A lot of them knew it, and went to the same gigs. So it was quite funny. I was very popular, you know, for a few weeks as a teacher. Didn't last very long.
You were the super cool teacher. That's awesome. I love that.
Didn't last.
Well, you had your moment. Okay, so like going from like what I would call like classic rock bands like Zeppelin, and then getting into like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones. The Ramones, like especially like living in Queens, I love them because they are from here, and I love everything. To me, I feel like they are like the quintessential like punk rock band. Like everything that I love about punk stems from the Ramones and what they did.
Yeah, definitely. And we played in the Ramones tribute for 4 years, called Los Ramones, and we had the wigs, you know, where we put wigs on, and we had the same jackets and the same shoes, and copies, must write copies because they're far too expensive to buy. But anyway, we
Right.
we had a great time. It was great, you know, and we really enjoyed it. The Ramones are magnificent band. I saw them in Glasgow in 1989. Shows my age, but it was great. It was amazing.
Wow, you saw them live. That's so cool. I've heard that their shows were like really short, but they play. And I've heard two things about Ramones concerts. The sets were generally pretty short, and they played like twice as fast as the album.
Yeah, they definitely played for an hour, and then they did an encore for 15 minutes, and they didn't stop. They just did it, 1 hour non-stop, and they stopped for maybe 2 minutes, and they came back 15 minutes, and that's it. And they're gone.
Yeah, just like get in and get out.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Ramones song or one that you like really enjoy playing?
I would just probably Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of them. Cretin Up and that kind of stuff. A lot of the songs.
Oh yeah. I love that. I love California Sun. That's a really
I want to be sedated.
Version.
I want to be sedated, stuff like that. All the songs are brilliant. I love all the albums. So.
Yeah, and to me, like as a bass player, like a white P bass with a black pickguard is like the look of how to be a bassist in a punk rock band. That is like the coolest you can be. Is that?
Sounds cool, yeah.
Yeah. So you start. So you're 13. Start playing electric guitar. And how soon into your like journey of playing did you like start playing in bands in your teens? What was that look like? Did you start playing shows early on, or did that come later?
We just started playing at 16. I met a couple of friends who wanted to form a band, and we just played. We didn't know how to play, and we just started playing basically. And and I think our first gig was when we were 17. We were still at school, and it wasn't very good. But we invited all our friends, so it was quite good fun. And then you get a few local gigs, and it's always good fun basically. It's always good fun.
What was that first band called?
It was called Pacemaker, like Jerry and the Pacemakers, But Pacemaker, and I had another band called Jack et les Éventreurs, Jack and the Rippers, and it was mostly rock and roll covers. We played songs by a lot of the Fleshtones and the Ramones and the Del Fuegos and things like that, and a lot of bands, basically the Inmates from England, and a lot of rock and roll bands, basically.
I can kind of hear some of that in Badass Mother Fuzzers, because like when I listened to your newest album, Sorry for You, I heard a little. I also heard that sort of like those sort of like proto punk influences. Like I heard the MC5. I heard like shades of the Stooges, like Iggy Pop, like sort of like before like we had a word for punk. That's sort of like those sort of like really is sort of like just badass riffs, like ones that really make you want to like, I was like just groove into those like really cool guitar riffs, man.
Yeah, we love the MC5, the Sonics, the Stooges. I saw Iggy Pop a couple of times at the Stooges as well when we reformed the Stooges, and it was it's my favorite band basically with the MC5, and the Ramones and the Fleshtones. I love the Fleshtones as well.
I'm gonna have to listen to more of them, because that's a name I've heard come up a bunch when I talk to people. Oh, hi, Kitty. And so, and how long has Badass Mother Fuzzers been together?
Well, it's going to be 10 years now. So we finished with Los Angeles in 2015 because we had enough and we wanted to do our own stuff. So it's going to be 10 years.
Because I'm also interested a little bit. So your first couple gigs when you were in your teens, young adult, were like school gigs. But was at that time in Toulouse, was there much of like a punk rock scene? Were there other punk bands in the city at that time?
There was in Toulouse, but I come from a place called Clermont-Ferrand in the center of France.
Oh, okay.
There were quite a few bands there. Because people, a lot of bands, a lot of local radio stations were starting as well at the same time.
Okay.
So it was a good place to play rock and roll. It's quite good.
Nice. So there were other people like doing stuff, and there were people like coming who wanted to like come to shows and things.
Yeah, and then there were older bands we went to see, and we learned from them, and it was really amazing. It was amazing because lots of music, lots of radios as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great time to start music, basically.
That's awesome. And who were some of those bands? Do you remember any of them that you played with?
The local bands. There's a band called Fa 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 or Armée Rouge. We're doing a lot of reggae, and a band called Tachycardy. We're doing kind of heavy metal. It was kind of mixed up, and it was really good because all different styles, and we all talk to each other, and they talk to us. We're a bit older, and they talk to us.
Yeah.
And they lent us their instruments. So I mean, it was really nice.
Very, very cool. Again, like people just very willing to help each other out. I love everything about this. To me, I love like finding out things like this because to me, I feel like this shows that like the ethos of like punk rock and DIY music kind of transcend like cultural and national borders. Like when you get like a bunch of people who like the Ramones in the same room together, everybody's just kind of best friends.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's
made lots of friends listening to the Ramones.
Oh, same. Like I'll walk around. I'll like walk around like foreign countries wearing like Blink-182 shirts or Rancid, and people, and it's a good conversation starter for a certain type of person.
Yeah, when we were in New York a few years ago, I was wearing a Ramones T-shirt, and a guy asked me basically, "Are the Ramones still going?" And I would like to see them. So it was quite. Yeah, it is definitely a way to get to talk to people and to meet them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. So Badass Mother Fuzzers starts about 10 years ago. Can you kind of take me through how that band came about? Like how soon after like a previous project did Badass Mother Fuzzers start?
We started during the previous project without telling another member of the band we were starting it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Created a few tensions, but because he was the best player's brother.
Oh,
so we haven't spoken for 10 years now because of that.
Oh goodness.
But anyway, we just decided we just wanted to do our own stuff and do more garage rock, garage punk kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of playing the Ramones, it was very nice to play the Ramones for a while. But, it takes its toll. So It's nice to do your own stuff as well at some point.
Yeah. Were you kind of like looking like an outlet for like for songwriting and original stuff?
Well, I never stopped writing songs basically. So I sent the songs to other guys, and and basically we started from there. But during the Los Ramones, I kept writing stuff and sending it to them.
Gotcha. So you had like this like whole library of material.
Yeah, we had a few songs to start with.
Uh-huh. Nice. When it comes to writing songs, is there generally a similar place that songs always develop for you? Like, does it come from music or a lyric idea, or is it different each time?
Usually it's a bass. I play a kind of bass line on the guitar with lots of fuzz.
Yeah,
that's how it starts. Most of the time it starts like that, and then the rest comes, or sometimes comes with the chorus for the lyrics for the cover for the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the time I'm just on my couch on Saturday morning, and I start playing the guitar, and the ideas come, like that.
Yeah. You can kind of start with like a and then that's and you sort of build from that.
Yeah, I get the sounds in my head. Basically, I start singing it. Sometimes I sing to my phone. My wife thinks I'm completely mad, but anyway, that's how it starts.
I'm familiar with that. Like sometimes it just takes like a little bit of the strangest inspiration to kind of like trigger an idea or a phrase, or sometimes what works for me sometimes is there's this great video I like with Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters and Kyle Gass from Tenacious D. They're backstage at some music festival, and Dave describes songwriting as, think of the chorus as like a bumper sticker, as like that's like your theme, and then you just can build a song around this bumper sticker phrase.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In terms of like lyric writing, so if you usually start with a chorus, is there generally like a particular theme that you go from, or when you write lyrics, like is there a particular like emotional place that you get to when you write words?
I don't know. The lyrics are always angry.
Right.
I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
I always seems to be angry in my lyrics against some fictional character. So it starts like that most of the time. Must be some kind of anger hidden in me somewhere, you know.
Sure. Well, I can imagine because my mother was a teacher for a number of years. So I could just think of like, you know, some kid in your class, some bureaucracy, some sort.
Maybe frustration maybe as
Oh yeah, so some kind of like nonsense that you have to deal
well.
with.
That's it. Yeah.
And when you guys record, like say when you recorded the new album Sorry for You, what was that process like? Was that in a studio or was that done like at home?
Yes, we went to a studio called Swampland, okay,
Uh-huh.
in Toulouse. There's a guy called Low Spider
Okay.
who's played in lots of garage bands, basically like the Magnetics, I think.
Okay.
Maybe they played in the States, I think, a few years ago. And basically, he's got this. It's a swamp, basically. You know, it's got all these strange effects coming from everywhere in every cupboard. You know, every drawer.
Yeah.
So some strange effects, lots of guitar amps and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he's really good, and he's recorded most of the garage bands from France and sometimes from Europe in his studios. So he's really used to that kind of sound, you know, and he's recording on tapes, on reels, you know, on tapes. So you get real warm sound basically from that.
Oh wow! So you didn't record to Pro Tools. This was done to like 2-inch tape, like back in the day.
That's it. Yeah, and then basically he puts and then you know he transfers it to the computer, but most of the time, yes, it's all recorded basically on tapes. And it's quite frustrating sometimes because you can't get anything wrong. It's recorded live. He records basically bass, drums, and guitar live with guide vocals.
Uh-huh.
So there's no place for mistakes basically. So you got to start and restart again. So it can be very frustrating, but in the end, it's good. You know, it sounds very good.
Right. You need to, because back in the day, you couldn't just punch in a specific part. You had to play it the whole way through. I wonder how many bands could do that if they had to nowadays. That's awesome. I could totally hear that when I was listening to the album because it absolutely sounds like the production quality and the vibe of it is all of that era. That's sort of like late 70s, early 80s kind of sort of like what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like there's I can feel the grit when I listen to it.
The grit.
If that makes any sense, and especially because I think I've seen some photos of you with like a Tele, and I feel like that's just a great guitar for that sound too.
Yeah, I love Telecasters. I really love the sound. You know, bands like the Pretenders and the Telecasters. Joe Strummer had the Telecaster as well.
Yeah.
So I love Telecasters. I love the sound. It's really real. You know, it's really sounds and very dry as well. So it's really good. I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it can get that like really like scratchy, like high pitched sound, and then those like really kind of bluesy, sort of like warm, fuzzy sounds when you need them. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't like Gibsons. Or I really like Gibson. I don't like Gibsons. The sound is too fat. I like Telecasters for that. You know, it's the real guitar sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this too. If I was gonna play like a Gibson, first off, I would need like a lot of money to do that nowadays.
Yeah.
But one kind of guitar I've never really played a ton of are like the guitars with P90s. Which are sort of like I call them like thick single coils. They're like single coils aspiring to be humbuckers. They're a little noisy, but they sound really good.
Yeah, I had a Mosrite copy, you know, an Eastwood guitar for the Ramones tribute, and they had P90s on it, and they sounded very good, basically.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Did you use your Telecaster on the album on Sorry for You?
Yes, just the Telecaster all the way through. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's super cool. And do you play like a lot of solos, or do you just mostly do rhythm?
I mostly do rhythms, but I play short solos because you know long solos are boring most of the time. I'm not that good anyway, so you know you play a short solo to try to bring a little something to the song, you know, and but you don't need massive solos, big guitar solos. It's not very good, is it? It's not very punk rock.
I agree. I like mostly like little like quick notey phrases, like some like little major keys or like do like something that you can kind of sing and then go into some palm muting and some yelling about the government and stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I'm going to be doing a lot of that for the next 4 years over here. Dude, well, I gotta say again, congratulations on this album, because it just came out last year, right?
Yes, yeah. In this year, last year, May 24.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's really cool, and like the vibes on it are just so amazing, and I'm really excited about this show that we're doing together in April.
So are we. Thank you very much. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't wait to meet you guys.
Oh, can't wait to meet you too, and the rest of the band. The bands are gonna be super nice to get to know, and very similarly. My band is very much looking forward to it. My band is relatively new, so this is like maybe our second year of gigging. So we're looking forward to it. If people want to find out more about Badass Mother Fuzzers, where can they go?
They can go on Bandcamp and Instagram and Facebook. I mean, and YouTube as well. Just like everyone else, basically. That's where you find us.
Fantastic. And I'll make sure I'll put some links in the description for when this episode comes out, so that people can know about the show. And Mick, I really appreciate you taking time to chat with me. So this has been really nice. I look forward to meeting you in person in the next couple months.
Yeah, thanks for getting in touch, and I can't wait to meet you. Okay.
Likewise, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Thanks a lot.
Love a podcast where I can make a new friend, and Mick is definitely my new friend, and I'm really looking forward to sharing the stage with his band, Badass Mother Fuzzers. Our bands will be playing at the Shillelagh Tavern April 19th, so make sure you follow Badass Mother Fuzzers on Instagram, and follow Skiplag NYC on Instagram as well, so you can be up to date on that show, April 19th at the Shillelagh Tavern in Astoria, Queens. That's our show for today, folks. If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out Badass Mother Fuzzers' newest album, Sorry For You, streaming everywhere you get your music. And if you enjoyed this podcast and think you know a friend who would be interested in as well, you can send them to awesomedisaster.com. That has links to everything related to me and what I do. You can follow me on Instagram, willcarry23, between Awesome and Disaster on Instagram. Everything related to what I do is at awesomedisaster.com. And if you want to go a little bit further in support of the show, you can also check out our Patreon as well as our merch store, also available at awesomedisaster.com. And I'm on Blue Sky now. I was able to grab Will Carey with no numbers or extra weird spellings on Blue Sky. So you can follow me there now as well. I might actually stick with that over Mastodon or Hive or even Threads. I still have Threads, but again, the best place to connect with me and what I do is at awesomedisaster.com. I hope you folks continue to find some respite in the beginning of a year that I think is, most people will say, is not going to be not setting itself up to be great. So we will continue to I'm going to continue to stay informed, take care of myself, take care of those closest to me, and find joy when I can and where I can. And might have to leave the United States to do that, but I will be doing that very soon. So thank you all again so much for being here, and I will see you next time between Awesome and Disaster. Take care, everybody.